Macho talks sports now. Macho talks sports. Macho talks sports. Macho talks sports.
Welcome to Macho Talk Sports Episode 14. I am your host, Macho, and I'm here with my boy, Daniel Flores. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing great, bro. A lot better mood than last time we were on the pod. The Steelers finally decided to show up, so now I just need this team to start showing up as well.
From what I'm hearing, it looks like they might be turning it around a little bit on defense, so we'll see.
A little bit, it helps. It helps. Well, for the Steelers, they play the Colts. For the Magic, it helps when you play the Hornets and the Wizards in back-to-back games. So,
hey,
we'll take that.
Beggars can't be choosers. Defense very important. We'll get into the Steelers, why possibly their defense looks a little better when we talk about these trade deadline trades. But the first things first is I wanted to kind of right or wrong. In my last episode, obviously, I was excited about the Jets win. There's a lot of excitement going on. But first things first. So I want to say rest in peace to Nick Mangold, who died at the age of 41. He played center for the Jets. He was obviously one of my favorite NFL players of all time, not just Jets players. NFL players is going to be Revis number 1, Mangold right there number 2. And when we did the episode last week, I was coming off the high of a big win. I forgot to mourn this even bigger loss. So today I want to right that wrong, and I want to give a quick tribute to one of the greatest to ever do it.
Well, it really has been kind of what has defined my life. I had this yearning. I was like, football seems awesome. And I fell in love after the first practice. Like it was definitely love at first sight. Like, I might be able to play in college, and that's pretty cool. And then in college, it was playing, and it was like, this is neat. We found the pinnacle. And then late in college, it was like, you know what? I might have an opportunity to get 1 or 2 years in the NFL. And
with the 29th choice in the 2006 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Nick Mangold, center from Ohio State.
Then that turned into 11 years. Rex had his ground and pound, and that was his philosophy, and we took that to heart. And so running the ball was our pride and joy. We made it happen. When you look up at the names that are already there, and to be considered to be one of them is something that's very special and means a lot to me.
Nick Mangold was drafted from Ohio State in 2006. He was the 29th overall pick by the Jets. He played 11 seasons in the NFL. In those 11 seasons, he played 164 games and started all 164. In those 11 seasons, he made the Pro Bowl 7 times, was an All-Pro 3 times. The Jets obviously only have 1 Super Bowl win, which was all the way in Super Bowl 3. We've made the AFC Championship 4 times in our history, and we made 2 of them because of him. To back. Obviously, you're very familiar with that. And just in a franchise filled with like darkness and inconsistency, he was one of those constant lights for us. So I just want to say I love and miss you, Nick, and rest in peace to number 74.
For sure. The world lost a great human being, a great man, father, and a great beard, man. That's
yes.
Yeah.
That was a man's beard right there.
That was a man's beard. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to that family.
100%. And unfortunately, that was sad news. But he's somebody that understood that the show must go on. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. And we're going to move on to something a little more lighthearted, something a little more exciting, which is going to be this World Series. The World Series. The Dodgers win the 2025 World Series. And this was a series to remember. And there's no one that I know that can recap this better than you, sir. So I'm going to hand off the mantle to you, and you please take this away.
For sure. So obviously, going into the World Series, we kind of expected the Dodgers to kind of run away with this. At the beginning of the season, we expected the Dodgers to win it anyways. What we didn't foresee is that the Blue Jays showed up, and they showed up in a massive, massive way. I mean, they were literally an inch away from stealing this World Series, and I mean, honestly, they were the better team. Almost all in every category, they were literally better. I have some stats here that before I start running down the games here.
Please do.
Playoff rankings, home runs, the Blue Jays first with 28. Runs, Blue Jays first with 105. The next one for the runs was the Dodgers at 72.
Oh my God.
Batting average, Blue Jays first, 285. Strikeouts, so they're pitching as a whole, 180 strikeouts. I mean, they absolutely dominated, of course, led by Vlad. He had 27 hits, 8 home runs, 15 RBIs. He would have been the MVP. But these Dodgers, it's gonna happen. And we all know, right? Like, we know what their payroll looks like. We know what type of roster they have. They have MVP after former MVP after former MVP after in that batting lineup. But game one, the Blue Jays came out swinging, right? It was expected for the Dodgers to maybe win in 5 or even sweep. No, the Blue Jays set the tone early. They said, no, 11 runs. This is what it's going to happen. But then the Dodgers respond. And honestly, look at the score, 5-4. Like, every time the Dodgers won, it wasn't like, like it wasn't a big margin every time the Dodgers won. It was always close. And 5-1. And then game 3, we all know what happened. Game 3, you heard it here. I was on Red Bull, which shout out to Red Bull and the tandem roller coaster. That they were just here in Florida, and it was hilarious. But anyways, we know how that ended. It was an all-timer, one of the greatest games in World Series, which we thought, okay, that's the best game this series is going to have.
Right.
No, we were wrong. We were definitely wrong. But then we thought that the hangover of losing that game, we thought the Dodgers, okay, now for sure they're going to run away. No, it did the opposite effect. The Blue Jays came back. They won 2 in a row. And then the Dodgers said, all right, hold up. We're still the big dogs. And then tied it. And then we go into what people are saying, the greatest game 7 of World Series history, which honestly, watching every single pitch, every single play, this game definitely delivered. It delivered. It had everything that you can hope for. The Blue Jays, they got out in front, and I honestly thought that they were going to win this whole thing. And no, man, like it just, the Dodgers are inevitable. I don't even know if I can say that correctly. Inevitable. Yeah. They're that good. They're that stacked. And even though, like I said, the Blue Jays had 180 strikeouts, they didn't have one man, and that's Yamamoto. This guy literally did it all. Yes, Shohei also had a big series.
Of course.
But as we know, whoever wins the World Series is usually because their pitching and their bullpen are hot at the right time. And all it took was literally Yamamoto to close this out in big spots. And he is your MVP and back-to-back, first time since the Yankees. We have the Dodgers, and it's looking like they may go for a three-peat. But I also have heard, and I'm sure you've heard this, Torres, the Dodgers are the highest paid, they have the highest paid roster in baseball, which means that they're buying championships. But I do want to say, and they were making it seem like the Blue Jays were like the Pirates or the Rays, which, their payroll is like nothing compared. It's like, I don't even think it's like 3% of what these guys are paying their players.
Insane.
I have another stat, little stat here.
Let's hear it.
The Blue Jays were actually 7th in payroll. So it does seem like there is a precedent. Yes, the Dodgers are paying an extensive amount of money, but right after that, You have the Mets, which disappointing. Yeah, money can buy you a championship. It'll only buy it for the Dodgers, really. You have the Mets, you have the Phillies, the Yankees, the Cubs, the Padres, and the Blue Jays at 7. All of those made the playoffs, except the Mets, which that's a separate conversation for another day. But yeah, no, it's just in order to win, you have to invest in your team. The Blue Jays definitely did that. The Dodgers obviously do that. So it's just, yeah, it's going to be a fun one for next year. Let's see who comes out on top.
There's a lot of little fun, like if you dive into this series, the season and all that stuff, there's a lot of interesting little intriguing stats and stuff like that. I think one of the ones that you just brought up was probably the most, where it comes with the payroll. You can have the highest payroll and still not win it all. It's who you're investing in, and the Dodgers did a really good job at picking those people and who they invested. Oh, this team doesn't want to pay their star player. They're getting tired of it. We'll pay him. Bring him over here and stuff like that. And it's very similar to what the Yankees used to do back in the days. We don't do that anymore, unfortunately. But then you can see someone, like you said, like the Mets, the second highest payroll, and I don't even think it was by that much either. Like obviously it's a considerate
9 million. What's the difference?
Which
between
is
Dodgers and Mets?
Insane. And I think what was number 3, like almost 100 million or something like that. Like
just about. Yeah, Philly at 290, the Mets at 341, and then the Dodgers at 350.
Insane. So
million, of course.
Billion, of course. Yeah. Well, the way the Dodgers are going, they're going to reach the billions in a couple of years because they're still going to keep buying more players. Of course, we know they're not going to stop now. But yeah, so that's the first interesting thing. It's not just also the payroll, but who are you investing in with this with these contracts, and the fact that the Blue Jays were 7th on that list. I never would have guessed they were 7th. I've looked at that list a couple of times, and I guess they just always slip my mind for some reason because again, coming into the season, no one really took them serious.
No,
I was one of the Yankee fans not taking them serious, and then they bust our ass in Toronto to the point where we had Ryan on the show saying that they got to be cheating. We were having PTSD with the Astros, with your Astros. It's like they're banging on trash. They're doing something, but no, they're just really goddamn good at swinging that bat, man. Yeah, they are so freaking good. That obviously they lost the series, but my hat's off to them. It was an amazing series. My hat's half off to the Dodgers because I just don't like them. But because obviously I have nothing wrong with buying players. They are doing some extra stuff though. It's not just a buying.
Of course. I think where the anger that comes in is how they paid Shohei, but in reality, it's the deferred money, right? It's for later on. And what's crazy about
bring in Yamamoto.
Yeah, exactly. They bring in Yamamoto. They may bring in this new guy that one of the new, and I'm pretty sure they'll definitely pay him and defer. But hey, it's again, the Yankees used to do it. Why do you think the Yankees have so many championships? They used to be this team. And I know it hurts for you and it's fun for me because you have a little bit of parity among Major League Baseball, which is it's always fun. Every once in a while, it's always nice for somebody else to win, unless you're a fan of that team. And I mean, it's just the way that they're handling business. It's just they're smarter. They're smarter. They know who to invest their money in. It's not like the Mets that they invested money in certain players. Yes, Lindor's good, Juan Soto's good, but the rest of that roster, how is it looking like? You can't just pay anybody. And the Dodgers are definitely paying the right people. I mean, again, former MVPs and MVPs and Shohei, the GOAT, it's just,
so that was insane. And then also that I think you brought it up you brought up the totality of runs that the Blue Jays had just garnered throughout this postseason, over 100, which is absolutely insane. In this World Series alone, they had 34 and the Dodgers had 26. So the Blue Jays were averaging almost 5 runs a game. Dodgers just over 3. And they still ended up coming out with the win somehow. Like you said, these wins when the Blue Jays did win it, they normally bust their ass, belt to ass type of winnings. And then when they lost, it's about 1 or 2 points. I noticed if you keep them down to like about 5 or under, you have a chance of winning. That once they get to 6, 7, 8, and like that, you're not catching them at that point. So again, hats off to both teams. Of course, congratulations to the Dodgers. And we're gonna come off of that, and we're gonna go into this absolutely insane day. So to peel the curtain back a little bit, we are recording this on the 4th, which is the trade deadline day. And as you can see here, all these trades that have happened within the past couple of days, most of these happening today, I believe 6 or 7 trades happened today, which was the third most on a draft day since 2000. So obviously it's a lot to cover. A lot of these to cover. Quinnen Williams to the Cowboys, Sauce to the Colts, Jakobi to the Jaguars, Shaheed. There's a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to segment them a little bit. And
hey, Macho, what is Planet Euphoria?
Planet Euphoria is a clothing company based out of upstate New York with the best designs and sports tees on the market. They have everything from basketball, football, baseball, music artists, anime, and so much more.
Do they have any deals?
Right now, they have a buy one, get one 50% off promo for a limited time. But if you want to save just a little bit more, use code Macho Talk Sports for 25% off of your entire order.
That's so cool. I'm going to order some right now. What's the website again?
PlanetEuphoria.com. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. PlanetEuphoria.com. Let them know that Macho Talk Sports sent you. I'm going to be a little bit of a homer first, and we're going to go to some of these Jets trades because this is the first one that dropped. This was possibly the first one of the day, if I'm not mistaken, too. Not just by the Jets, but like in general.
I think Logan Wilson was the first one of the day, earlier in the day.
You're 100% right. Logan Wilson.
Yeah.
That was like such a low level thing where people were actually making fun of the Cowboys because like this is the trade that you had on the table that you were talking about, but we'll get into that other trade later. Yeah. So this one absolutely took me by surprise. If you saw me in live reactions, I was screaming. I was crying. I was all over the place. Now we're about 6 hours since this trade happened. I've had a lot more time to kind of think on this and ponder it. If I take out the name Sauce Gardner and I just put cornerback, the Jets trade cornerback for a 26 first, a 27 first, and wide receiver AD Mitchell. I absolutely love this trade.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. For obvious reasons, though, I'm emotionally attached to it, and that it hurts so damn much. It hurts so damn much. Sauce Gardner, we just paid him 3 months ago, not even 3 months ago, a little less than 3 months ago. And it was this regime that paid him. So that's why I'm not even considering him as an option. One, he got paid. Two, he got paid by this regime. Sometimes, like Michael Carter, who we traded a couple of days ago, got paid by the last regime. So it's a little more understanding if we have to come off his contract. Maybe he just doesn't fit this scheme. These people paid him. They had the presser today. Muji said that they weren't shopping him, but obviously when the call comes in, they're going to pick up the phone, and the Colts just coming higher and higher on that value for the trade. Eventually it got to this point. Now I can say I understand it. I'm okay with it. I love Sauce Gardner, so I do love the fact that he's going to the Colts, where they're looking like a Super Bowl contender at this point with 7-2. They're tied for the first record in that whole NFL, not just the AFC. In the whole NFL, it's a 3-way tie. All three of them are in the AFC. Go figure. But so I love that for him. Obviously, I like it for us that we have 2 first-rounders, one this year, one next year. We take another wide receiver like we did with the Michael Carter trade to just kind of kick the tires, see what we got in him. He's still young. He's still on his rookie contract. See if he works out. If he doesn't work out, we can get rid of him and it doesn't hurt us. So now that all the emotion has gone away, I do want to say I like this trade. When you saw this trade come in, how did this make you feel?
So this wasn't the Jets player that I thought was going to get moved. I honestly and I know you were against this other one too. I honestly thought Garrett Wilson was going to be the one being traded today. And I was kind of thinking that it was going to go to like the Patriots or or even the Bills. I honestly thought that was going to be the move you guys are making today. Now, when this one came through, I was a little bit surprised, but at the same time, it makes sense. It makes sense, one, because you've said so yourself in this pod and in separate conversations. Sauce wasn't really playing like Sauce this year. Now, it may have been scheme. It just, the mood of the team overall is just not the highest. Now it is, because you finally got that first dub. But I think it was time for him to go, even though you just paid him, plus the return on this. And I think the return on this is kind of similar to what the Packers had to give up in order to get Micah Parsons. Now, I'm not saying Sauce Gardner is that type of player, but he can be that impactful, especially on a Super Bowl contender that the Colts are, which is, again, wild to say, but they are, and they may have just lost to the best team in football, but we don't know yet. We
can't fault them for that, right?
Yeah, no, we don't know. They may have run into a juggernaut, but who knows? We never
happens to the best of them.
But honestly, it's if I recall correctly, Micah Parsons was the return the Cowboys got was 2 firsts and the player, and I think that's a major haul. You can look it up and see if I'm right on this. But like you said, you just look at it. Colts receive a cornerback. Yes, it's Sauce Gardner. You take your personal emotion out of it. 2 first-round picks, man. That's amazing for a team that is in the search of that big position you guys lack. That's a quarterback. Now, that could be a move for a rookie quarterback that you guys want. You can bundle those, or you can draft one and then bundle that for another impactful player. You're going to have so much options, which I think it helps this new regime that the Jets have. So moving forward, honestly, it's a great haul. And you throw in AD Mitchell, and that's kind of like the forgotten name. AD Mitchell's actually pretty good. He's pretty good. Yes, we all know him from the bonehead mistake that costs one of the Colts games, but he's actually very, very talented, great receiver, young receiver. And like you said, if it doesn't work out. You still got those 2 first.
And we need the bodies at receiver. Our receiving room is garbage. Obviously, Garrett Wilson should be coming back this week, but it's not 100%. We don't know if he's going to be 100%. So there's a lot of factors. And then even after Garrett Wilson, Josh Reynolds was supposed to be our number 2, which isn't great at all. But even he's on IR, so he's going to be out for a couple more weeks. We need as many bodies as we can get in the receiving room. To go to that Micah Parsons trade, it was the 26 first and the 27 first, as well as Kenny Clark. So very similar. The only difference was it's a wide receiver other than that. But so with this 27 pick, because I didn't mention it, it's going to be actually no. I'm lying. What I'm thinking about is going to be for the next guy. But it's like you said, like
heartbreak.
Yeah, it was so much. It was heartbreak after heartbreak, back to back. Freaking hurt. Matter of fact, while we're on the topic, let's go ahead and take my boy out.
Go back to the OG.
Yeah. And then we're gonna move on. So I think we both agree, though. This should be a good trade for the Jets. This is something that gives the new regime a chance to get their players in. As much as it hurts that Sauce has to go, his play wasn't really working. I feel like they're kind of officiating him a little different this year. They don't let him get as physical as he used to. He used to be able to get away with that in his first couple of years. They've been really just throwing flags like crazy when it comes to his defense now. So he's not as great. Not to say that he's not great at all, but he's not as great as he once was. That ceiling's a little capped when it comes to that. But then the other heartbreak, my boy right here.
Yeah, this one sucks.
So this one right here, this is somebody that I thought would be going into the Jets Ring of Honor. Like he was at that level. Just like we just saw the Nick Mangold thing where it was somebody that we drafted, homegrown. We keep him throughout his whole career, and then we set him off into the sun. Quinnen Williams was with us for 6 years, was amazing all 6 years, was very consistent all 6 years. And then out of nowhere, we trade him to the Cowboys. Now, the Cowboys and the Jets were linked when we were talking about that Micah Parsons trade. There was rumors and reports that they were trying to trade Micah Parsons to us for Quinnen Williams, and we give them a first. In hindsight, I'm so glad we didn't make that trade. Even back then, I didn't want to do that trade. But now knowing that we were going to get rid of him anyway, I think it worked out way better doing it this way because Micah Parsons is not somebody that was going to bring this 1-7 team and turn them into a playoff contender,
Correct.
as well as also having to pay Parsons that type of money on top of that. That he's twice as expensive as Quinnen Williams. So it wouldn't have made sense. So the fact that we got off of Quinnen Williams now, again, I did not want to trade him, but there was a caveat with him. I was more open to him being moved if I knew that we were getting a first. Just because I know that he's getting a little bit older, we're kind of not in. We don't know when we're going to be playing to win. It could be next year. It could be 2 years from now. By then, he's in his 30s. Injuries happen. This is the best time where we could get the most value out of him right now. So I was hoping as long as we could get a first, maybe some extra on top of that, I'd be open to it. We ended up getting the first. It wasn't for this year, but we get a first and a second. We get the first for 2027 and the second for this year. That pick in 2027 is actually going to be the lesser of the two because they got one from Green Bay in that trade. So they have two. The Cowboys have two firsts. We're going to get whichever one is the highest. So whichever one's closer to number one overall, we will end up taking that one, which means that the Cowboys cannot trade either of those picks during the season. They have to wait until after the 27th. So that kind of hinders them too a little bit, which I do like. But yeah, so this is another one. If I take out the name and I just put defensive tackle gets traded for a 26th second and 27th first, and then we get Mozzie Smith, someone else that, again, we can kick the tires on. He wasn't
plug and play for right now.
Right, exactly. And I mean, obviously, we have the space for him to play. So I do want to give Muji credit because it seems like when he's making these trades and he's getting these nothing players, you're seeing these random names, Mozzie Smith, you're seeing A.D. Mitchell, you're seeing who's the wide receiver that we got, John Menchie, we got Brownlee. I feel like he can evaluate talent very well. He can see players that have the potential, but maybe they're just not being used to their maximum capacity, and they have an idea to where they can use him and utilize him better. I'm hoping Mozzie Smith is one of those players. If not, we still have the first and the second. So another trade where instant reaction, I'm pissed. As the time has been able to settle down a little bit, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. And then the last thing I want to say before I kick it off to you is we now have 2 firsts in 2026, 2 seconds in 2026, 3 firsts in 2027, and then 2 seconds in 2027. So we are stacked. So
yes.
What was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction is this is not the guy that you wanted to get rid of, right? Jet staple. I mean, one of the best defensive tackles in the league, honestly, when he's healthy and just go get the quarterback. This dude is an absolute stud. For the Cowboys, honestly, I think like they needed to make this trade. I don't think it's going to help them in the long run. They have so many issues. It's more in their secondary than in. I mean, they have issues everywhere. I can't even pinpoint it. Their defense just sucks. Yeah. Now, what the Jets are getting for this, it's actually, again, like you said, you remove the name, and this is quite the haul. You have a plug and play, like we mentioned, and that first round pick. Now, it moves. This kind of moves the Jets into a full new regime rebuild, and now it's Aaron Glenn, show me what you can do for us now that we have the draft capital. Let's pick the correct players. Let's pick the players that you like, because now you can kind of mix and shuffle and just kind of go get the guy you really want, or just draft a player that kind of falls on your lap, because you're going to be positioned quite well in the 2026 draft and in the 2027 draft. And then your own picks, because I mean, the Jets are 1-7, so it's going to be a pretty decent pick. So now it's where it kind of gets scary as a Jets fan, right? to where now you really, really have to trust your front office to make the right pick, where you don't end up like in a Chicago situation with Mitch Trubisky type of situation where they swung for the fences and they completely struck out. So it's again, it's a little bit worrisome as a Jets fan, but at the same time, you're excited because now like you can turn the page on this old Jets team, and kind of look a little bit more towards the future along with your own record and your own pick.
Yeah, as a seasoned Jet fan, it's obviously we should be super excited about these picks, but I'm getting to the point where I'm tired of our most exciting part of the NFL season being the offseason. I'm fucking sick of it because every time we go into it, it's we're about to turn this shit around. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. So obviously a part of that is who's at the helm of the regime and what kind of moves are they making. How good are the coaches? How good are they coaching up their players? So every time we do it, it's not always going to be the same. I think that to their credit and to like what you're saying, they did put themselves in the positions to be able to get whoever the hell it is that they're looking at in the draft, any type of players they think that might be available for trade. Now we have the capital to do it. Like we're so fluid with this roster. But what this also does is for this year, we're telling the rest of the league, we don't care about this year. We're not trying to win. If anything, we prefer to lose, which hurts for me because I don't want to tank. I do not want to tank. But what this does is it gives Glenn and it gives Muji not the reason, but kind of like
stay and play, kind of. Even though you're not playing for anything, you're just playing for pride. And those are the types of players that you want on your team that just go out there, nothing's changed regardless of record, and they're just going to go out there and kick some ass. That's literally the players that now you can start spotting of like, okay, their playoffs obviously is not on the line. This guy's half-assing it. So get him out of here. And then now you can pick and choose on your own roster.
100%. And also that means that if we lose out, we end up with 2 wins or something like that. Because before any of these deadline trades, it was let's get rid of Aaron Glenn, let's get rid of Muji, let's add one and done. Now it gives them the excuse of, well, we don't have a good record because we gave up our best players, basically. So it kind of works in their favor for both sides to where it keeps their job security because they have an excuse for losing, but then they also have the picks to try to get as many people as they want into this place to where now if it doesn't work again after this year, they're starting to run out of excuses because it's like you just basically traded 2 of our top 5 best players on this team, maybe top 3 best players on this team. So you better make sure that it works out. So if it doesn't, I'm going to be extremely pissed. But like you said, I'm going to try to be excited for the draft. I'm going to try to be excited for the offseason.
Trust me, I've been there. The hat that I'm wearing, I mean, after we lost Dwight, it took an eternity to have some hope. And then we got Oladipo, and he gave us a little bit of hope with that number 2 pick. We finally got the guy. I don't know what the hell Cleveland was thinking when they got Anthony Bennett at number 1, but we got Oladipo, and then we turn around, and that's why I say, like, it scares you as a fan because all of these moves are out of your control. You see the potential, like I saw the potential with Oladipo, and then we turn it around and we blow it up, and then we trade for Serge Ibaka, and then we were just mediocre for forever until literally we had to get rid of that front office and then bring in a new front office, and now we are where we are to where we actually have hope. So I know what you're feeling.
and a big part of that is you hit the picks. You got the Franz. You got
you have to.
Yeah, you got Paulo. Like you got the hits, which I felt like we did when we got like Brees and Sauce and all them boys, Garrett Wilson. But that didn't lead to wins. So
but football is hard because that one position, and you thought you had it with Rodgers because that was literally the only position you guys needed. You guys had a hell of a defense. And you thought with Rodgers it was going to happen, but then that MetLife Stadium got another one. Yeah, dude.
4 goddamn plays. Oh, man. All right, so let's get out of the misery of the Jets and move to a franchise that was considered kind of miserable for almost a decade or so, and now they're kind of turning around this year. That's the Jaguars. The Jaguars made a move for Jakobi Meyers. Jakobi Meyers has been begging the Raiders to trade him.
Yeah,
Literally begging, writing little soliloquies, poems. He was trying everything that he could to try to get out of there. He finally gets his wish granted. So the Jaguars ended up moving a 4th and a 6th round pick for Jakobi Meyers. And when I first hear that, my first thought is that seems a little rich. You would think that their wide receiver 1 and 2 position is locked down. Obviously, we have Travis Hunter going on IR. We have BTJ, who's been put into the hospital so many times by Trevor Lawrence with all those hospital balls. It was only a matter of time. And we've been saying this since like week 1.
Yeah, we had.
And I'm thinking that they gave up a lot of picks for when they came to that Travis Hunter pick last year.
Yeah.
I don't know how many picks they have left, so I had to go look at it. I put X because I don't know exactly which 6th or which 4th it is. But regardless, if you take out just one of those, they still have a 2nd, 3/3, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and 3/7. So they still got a lot of capital to play with. So looking at it now, I love this move for the Jags. That keeps them competitive. They are, I believe, 5-3 at the moment. Double check that in a second.
Maybe. Hold on. I think I have it pulled up around here.
I got it right here. 5-3.
Yeah.
So they are 5-3, which is amazing. For this team, nobody expected them to do a Duval. We did not expect this to happen. So it keeps them competitive until they could possibly get healthy and then try to make a run. Are they going to do anything, make any noise when it comes to playoff times? Probably not. But I still like it. I love when teams try to go for it. And in hindsight, that 4th and that 6th round pick is very, very minuscule for a price to pay for someone like Jakobi Meyers, who is actually really damn good. And I like it. I like it for them. And then it works for the Raiders because the Raiders aren't doing anything, wasn't going anywhere quickly, and now they just got 2 extra picks to play with next year. So what did you think when it came to this trade and you saw this trade come through?
I love it for the Jaguars. For the Raiders though, I don't know what the heck this guy just wanted out of the building. I don't know what the whole situation was. I like that the Jaguars pulled this move, especially after beating them in the final possession of the game, which kind of felt like, if we win this game, we'll throw in a 4th or a 3rd or whatever it was. And if we lose it, then we'll make it a little bit less, but we're still going to leave with this guy. But it definitely helps the Jaguars for one reason. It's Brian Thomas Jr. is more of a speedster guy. I would say he's not like in between the lines, and we've kind of noticed that he doesn't like getting hit, especially when Trevor Lawrence throws those types of balls. So he might be a little bit more of outside. Then you have Travis Hunter, which yes, he might be a wide receiver 1, but he's probably going to be played as a wide receiver 2 because he is one of the good cornerbacks on that team as well. So he's going to split time. So you do need a possession receiver, and that's what Jakobi Meyers is. He'll run inside. He'll take your 3rd down ball. It's kind of what Liam Cohen had with Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, and somebody else that I can't think of for before they drafted Egbuka down there. But anyways, it creates that 3-headed receiver monster when they're all healthy, to where Trevor Lawrence is going to have options. He's going to have a guy outside. He has going to have a guy that's just as dangerous outside and a bubble screen with Travis Hunter. And then you're going to have a possession receiver. So he's recreating his offense, which was damn good. And all it takes is just a decent quarterback to do it. But I don't know. You have Trevor Lawrence, so we'll see how that goes.
and that's the thing that I'm going to be monitoring throughout this season to see if that, because if they get to the playoffs somehow, Trevor Lawrence isn't going anywhere, but I don't think they're going to make it to the playoffs. So when that happens, they have no first for this year. They do have a bunch of middle round picks. Do they try to package maybe Trevor Lawrence in a 3rd or Trevor Lawrence in a 4th and try to get into the first? Like, do they do something like that where they try to reach for a quarterback somehow? Because maybe I'm looking at Tankathon over here, where they got all the terrible teams. New Orleans and Tennessee Titans are tied for the worst record at 1-8, and then the Jets at 1-7.
Mhm.
If Tennessee ends up with a top 3 pick, I'm pretty sure they're not going for a quarterback. With all the problems that they're having, I think Cam Ward is the least of their problems right now, and they just drafted him. So I don't see him going anywhere. New Orleans is going for a quarterback. The Jets are going for a quarterback. Miami is 2-7, going for a quarterback. Cleveland 2-6, going for a quarterback. Las Vegas 2-6, going for a quarterback. So everybody on these bottom teams, except for Tennessee and the Giants, will be reaching for a quarterback. If one of them end up in that top 4, if two of those teams, the Giants and what's the other one that I said, Tennessee Titans, end up at maybe that top 4, top 5 pick, I can see them being willing to trade back to try to get as many assets as possible. Maybe the Jaguars are one of those teams where they try to work it, or maybe there's a team that isn't as high up as they were like, let's say, hopefully not the Jets, but the Jets are at number 5, and 4 of those teams that need a quarterback are in front of us.
Yeah.
Maybe our way of getting our quarterback for now is trading back with the Jags, get Trevor Lawrence, and then they do whatever the hell they want to do with that pick. Like there's so many options that the Jags have right now with all those middle picks, and then with that quarterback, that's still kind of like, what the heck are we doing with him? Is he good enough to actually win or not?
Yeah, I think it'll take a lot for them to even consider trading Lawrence. I know he hasn't showed a lot of promise, but the Jaguars are still very, very high on him. Because yes, he is capable of making every throw and all that. It's just the decision making and all of this. It's not like your Tua situation where his eyes are like all over the place and he's very turnover prone. Trevor Lawrence is just that he leaves a lot to be desired, and I think that's a little bit that you can fix. But I don't think they'll give up on him yet. But yeah, I mean the Jaguars again, they're positioned good. This is good for them. So moving forward, I think it's a great pickup for them.
Yeah, we both definitely love the trade. The one thing that scares me about Trevor Lawrence, I mean, there's a bunch of things, but this year specifically is I thought Liam Cohen would be one of those people to kind of unlock him a little bit. And it still kind of looks like the same Trevor Lawrence we've been seeing. So yeah, I do agree where I think he should be untouchable. We just saw Sauce and Quinnen Williams get traded today, so I don't know what the hell is possible anymore. But someone else that did get traded that has been in the trade rumors for a while now is Shaheed. Yeah. Rashid Shaheed has been traded to the Seahawks, which is another team that is looking pretty damn good this year. The Seahawks are currently 6-2. They have a really good defense. They have JSN, who is absolutely balling this year. Cooper Kupp was supposed to be that number 2 coming back home. Obviously, he's a lot older. He has some health issues. This brings in another body right there. And he's also another speedster as well that can kind of take the top off the defense. So yeah, I think this is a perfect move, and they don't really give up too much. They give up a 4th and a 5th, which kind of sounds like a lot for a wide receiver that is being shopped, but at the same time, the Seahawks are in kind of in win now mode, which is another thing that sounds crazy. We talk about the Colts, the Seahawks, another one, the win now mode, insane with Sam Darnold. Good. Yeah, so I love this for the Seahawks, and then I love this for the Saints. The Saints need as many picks as possible because they're going nowhere quick. They need to just sell. I'm surprised Kamara's still on that team. There was a bunch of other people that I saw that could have been expendable this week or specifically today. Somehow he's the only one that gets traded. But great move for both teams. What do you think?
Honestly, this adds the Saints. They get draft picks. This is more about the Seahawks, man. This is Sam Darnold. What he has done, like to turn his entire career around, has been nothing short than spectacular. This guy, if you actually kind of look at the whole season as a whole, he is the only quarterback to have multiple 300-yard games throwing the ball. They're cooking, and now you're adding Shaheed, which takes off pressure from JSN, which, I mean, you can't even cover this guy anyway. So
He's thriving in the pressure right now.
he's thriving with double coverage, triple coverage. It does not matter. This guy might be one of the best receivers outside of Jamar Chase, like one of the best receivers in football, or he's becoming that. And then you have Cooper Kupp. He's injury prone. We thought, but he'll be kind of like, again, this trio of receivers where you have your outside, you have your stud, and then you have a possession receiver, which that would be your Cooper Kupp, kind of in between the lines and all that when he's healthy. Like what they're adding, and then they have a great tight end as well. Like the Seahawks are good. Nobody talks about them because they're like out all the way, like in the other side, and with a weird time zone. Like nobody talks about the Seahawks, which honestly, that's probably our fault.
It works to their favor, though. I mean, a lot of people like to thrive as that underdog.
It does.
Right under the radar.
And they're dogs, bro. They're absolute dogs. That defense is so good. And adding another weapon to a very, very high-powered offense. You saw what they just did. They just blew the crap out of these people. And just, like, this is a hell of a pickup for the Seahawks. A hell of a pickup.
It's crazy the world we live in where the Colts, the Jags, and the Seahawks are all going for it right now. Like, if I told you this a couple of years ago, you would laugh. But credit to them, hats off to them. They're going for it, and I respect it. I absolutely respect it, especially in a year like this year where the NFL is kind of wide open.
Mm-hmm.
There was always the Big Bass Chiefs. They're still there, of course, but this year there's a lot of chinks in their armor. The Bills, you see a lot of chinks in their armor. The Ravens are like 3-5 right now. So like these big bad teams that were kind of running the NFL are kind of just in the middle of the pack with everyone. And there's no very number one top team, top seed. So if you have a chance, right now is the time to go for it, especially if you're only giving up a fourth and a fifth with the Meyers thing, a fourth and a sixth. So I respect it. Only people like the Cowboys are moving first and seconds and still going nowhere. But hey, if that's what they want to do, I will take those picks. Thank you.
I mean, it's been like that for the last 30 years.
and then speaking of the Cowboys, that other trade where you pointed out that this was the first trade of the day, they got Logan Wilson from the Bengals for a 7th round pick. Now, there's a couple of different feelings that I have with this one. For Dallas side, I feel like their defense is so bad that anybody can possibly help them. Like they have possibly the worst defense. So I think Logan Wilson is somebody that was an absolute dog earlier in his career. He's kind of been dwindling down a little bit to the point that where he's not even really playing games anymore while healthy. And this is the Bengals, who are one of the other worst defenses. So if you can't even get on the field on one of those defenses, that's kind of a bad sign. So this, at first, when I first saw it, I thought, wow, that's kind of a steal for the Cowboys. But then when you look into the numbers, you look into the plays, you look into the stats, you look into the metrics, I think this ends up being nothing ultimately.
So my thing is, right, Logan Wilson was the leading tackler for the Bengals for a few years. And then, of course, like you said, injuries played a massive part of it. Honestly, I think something else is happening within that locker room itself. I mean, the way that they just lost, that whole defense just wants out, literally. And I'm honestly surprised that this was the move that happened with the Bengals and not Trey Hendrickson. They're not going to pay this guy, and apparently they're not going to get rid of him either. So they're a complete mess. Jamar Chase in the tunnel is like, yo, we just need one stop. They just let the Bears come with, 50 seconds after a miraculous comeback by the Bengals.
Yeah, after you thought the Bengals just won the whole game right there.
Joey Flacco being Joey Flacco.
Thank you to the Browns.
Yeah, damn Browns. So after Joey Flacco kind of brought him back, and then that defense was a huge letdown. Jamar Chase, I think Chase Brown was another one. They were screaming in the tunnel on the way back to, like, just get one stop. We cannot stop anybody. Like, do something. And then you have players that just want to be traded from the defense. I think there's something else hidden within his playing time that may be outside of his actual
That's a good point.
like qualities of or not qualities, but I don't think he's washed.
It's like more of an effort thing where it's just he just doesn't want to be there, so he's not giving it his all. Okay, that's a good point.
And then the Cowboys, their linebacker play has been abysmal. It's their secondary is probably really, really bad, but their linebacker play as a whole, as a unit, the guy that communicates the plays and calls the checks and all this has been absolutely abysmal. So honestly, I think this is great for the Cowboys. Unfortunately,
looking at it with these new eyes,
great, yeah,
that was a good point, because if that's what it is, where it's not that he's declining in play and it's just he's declining in caring about this team anymore. Because if you take the physical ability out of it, the mentality wise, like you saying, being able to call out the plays, being able to be that leader on defense, that point guard, telling people where to go and who to guard and he still has that in him. So if he also has the physical and what you're saying ends up coming to fruition, that might be a really sneaky play right there.
I think honestly, I may have read this. Maybe like earlier today or something like that. Even with the games missed, I think he still leads the team in tackles. And
he does.
That's how solid this guy is. Yeah, that's how solid this guy is, and that's what the Cowboys need. So yeah, this is kind of like good job, Cowboys. You kind of addressed your run defense with Williams, and then now you address your linebacker, which is also addressing the run defense, and now they just have to figure out the back end. But we hope that they just never figure it out. Hopefully this backfires completely, but honestly not. In all reality and seriousness, this is actually a great move for the Cowboys.
It's a very sneaky move out, and now that you say that, I do kind of like that for them, because then again, if it doesn't work out, what do you get a seventh? You know what I'm saying? So that's a sneaky play. And then this next team that we're going to go to is probably hoping the same thing happened with all three of the players that they acquired, and that being the Eagles. Jaelan Phillips, Jaire Alexander, and Michael Carter II all come back to the Eagles. And then even after acquiring these players, it looks like the Eagles are still projected to have 8 picks just in 2026 alone. And all of them within the first 5 rounds: 1 second, 1 first, 1 second, 2 thirds, 2 fourths, and 2 fifths, with potential compensatory. There we go. There it goes. Compensatory picks for Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, and Mekhi Becton. Screw you, Mekhi Becton. He left us and then won a damn championship with the Eagles. So this is absolutely insane. I think the players that they got back, I had the same thought with the Wilson trade, the Logan Wilson trade, where I think these are just more names as opposed to actual quality players coming into this defense, with the exception of Jaelan Phillips. He's a little younger than those other 2 boys, a lot less injury history than those other 2 boys. So I really like that one for them. But then the Eagles, they just have this. Howie Roseman is a wizard when it comes to these trades. Really, he's really damn good. No matter what you think about the Eagles, you have to give Howie Roseman credit for the way that he goes upon his business. He is willing to take shots and trade picks, high picks for certain players like A.J. Brown, but then always has a backup plan and set up to where even if this doesn't work, we have these other things set in place to then keep the ball rolling. And he's been doing that since he's been there. And so I like the Jaelan Phillip pickup. Jaire Alexander, I don't think is going to help out as much, but the good thing about the Eagles is they have a pretty decent defense. So it's not like they're relying on him as much as one of these other teams would be relying on him. Yeah. Same thing with Michael Carter. Michael Carter, I can speak from experience coming from the Jets. His play has declined a lot, and that's, I feel like, 2 things, where it's the new regime coming in and that defensive change just not matching his play style, but then also him being hurt and having a herniated disc last year. He was playing on it last year as well, which hurt his play, but also ultimately hurt him. If anyone had any type of spinal injuries or anything like that, that's not something that gets better over time quickly. And then especially if you're doing something physical like playing football, you're absolutely just killing the disc. So I don't see his play getting any better. And then Jaire Alexander is old, and I don't see his play getting any better. But they're in win now mode. They had been in win now mode. They just won the championship. They made it to the final, the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. Before that, so they're just trying to win. They don't care. Let's bring these names in. We're not giving up any high picks except for Jaelan Phillips was the third, but they still have all those picks and 3 potential more picks coming back. So I hate their setup so much, but they're really damn good.
Yeah, when you're a Super Bowl contender, that's literally what you have to do every year. You have to, because when you win the Super Bowl, when you win the NBA Finals, when you win the World Series, other teams are going to purge your players because you can't pay everybody. So you have to find a way to just continue your Super Bowl aspirations while adding pieces. The players here, yes, their best play is probably behind them. Jaelan Phillips, that's one of the players that I didn't think was going to get moved. I thought it was going to be Bradley Chubb, but they decided the Dolphins, that is, decided to move away from Jaelan Phillips, the younger out of the two, to the Eagles, which one thing also, people just need to stop trading with the Eagles because they're fleecing everybody. In this case, yes, it might not be a fleece, but what it does is it creates more depth, more rotation, and it keeps players like your cornerbacks, just the exciting whites. They keep them fresh on like important plays because you're able to switch out. You're able to switch out, and it's just depth overall. So the Eagles, again, they're just adding to their team. And yes, it looks like big names, especially Jaire Alexander. But in reality, I think they're just adding more depth, more fresh bodies, just to continue the long haul. What is the NFL season, just to make it to the end? And they might be primed for another Super Bowl run, but I don't know. The Seahawks might knock them off. The Seahawks are looking good. And the Rams, man, don't forget about the Rams.
No, well, me and you will never forget about the Rams. We're really high when it comes to the Rams, as we should be, because they are really damn good. But I think you brought up another good point with the Eagles, where yes, 9 times out of 10 they're going to fleece you. But even when they don't fleece you, they make trades like these 3 trades to where they're not giving up very much to get these depth pieces, to which in some sense still ends up being a fleece because you're helping build and maintain what they have without having them to without making them pay up for it. And that's another great point.
The only acceptable trade, right, that I, as a AFC Steelers fan, is if you're going to make trades to get rid of really good players or even to just help a Super Bowl contender, send them to the other conference, send them to the NFC. And Miami did that, the Ravens did that, and the Jets did that. So in that sense, the Eagles are looking in the right conference to help them out. Unless you're the damn Browns again, you trade within your division and give them Joe Flacco, dude. Come on, man.
Oh man,
I'm still mad about that loss.
Which one? The
one to Joe Flacco and the Bengals.
Bro, Joe Flacco has been killing it since he's made it to the Bengals, and half of it is us joking a little bit, but not really.
No. You have literally the best 1-2 punch in the league. They're both wide receiver ones, and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And what does Joe Flacco do best? He chucks the shit out of that ball, man. That's all he has to do. All he has to do. You put him in that offense, and 470 yards this pass, and he lost.
Yes.
Credit to the defense. Thank you, defense, for just being absolutely terrible, and saving the Steelers, because we almost fumbled that whole entire stretch, and somehow we managed to beat the Colts. On the side note, that pisses me off that we beat the damn Colts after losing to the Packers, which they just lost to the Panthers, and then we lose to the Bengals, which they just lost to the Bears. Like what?
There's 3-7-2 teams, and you beat 2 of them.
Oh my god, bro.
Your team does not make sense to me. You beat the Patriots.
No, and it's the Tomlin way. The Tomlin way.
The Colts.
Yeah.
That's
We play
insane.
up to the conversation and down to the competition.
But let's stay on the Steelers with our last trade here, because this is one that we actually ended up breaking when it came to last episode, but we didn't get into the details. And not only that, since then we actually seen him in action. So I'm gonna let you take over with this one. How did you feel when you saw it, and then how did you feel when you actually saw the play on the field?
So the best thing a secondary or a cornerback or even a safety can do in a game is that his name is never mentioned, because that means that he didn't give up a big play. I mean, yes, he probably didn't make a big play, and Jaelan Ramsey was honestly just thumping people. And then, but this guy literally came in, learned the playbook, and was thrown and played, I believe, 76 snaps on, and managed to shut down the best. I'm not even going to say the best. A historic offense that is the Indianapolis Colts made Daniel Jones look like, sorry, Ryan, like Giants. Daniel Jones made Jonathan Taylor look human. Part of that may have been the field. I don't know, home court advantage. It's still a little iffy. That field kind of sucks still, but whatever. Who cares? We both have to play on that same field. He only rushed for 45 yards, but in big part is that Steeler defense came to play. The secondary was able to hold guys in check all game, so that front four, that the highest paid defense can finally do what they have to do, is just, pin them and then just go. Don't have to overthink it. Don't have to overcompensate because this player is not covering his spot. This guy saved my life, honestly.
Do you think he changes the defense for the rest of the season, or is this a kind of a flash in the pan where not to say that he's not going to be good, but to where the rest of the defense kind of just played up a little more?
I think it does simply, and it may not be him per se. I think it's more Jaelan Ramsey being moved to the free safety to where he can kind of shadow, especially one of our big flaws throughout the years is the Steelers can't cover tight ends. And we just saw Tyler Kraft, which for the Packers, which he's done for the year with ACL or MCL for the Packers, go absolutely crazy. And we've seen that over and over. We cannot cover tight ends. Jaelan Ramsey was actually able to shadow Tyler Warren, which is one of the better tight ends in the league for the Colts, and he kept them in check. There was no big explosive play. There was no yards after catch, which that's what he does. Kyle Duggar played his position and allowed Jaelan Ramsey to kind of just be that free safety that we like to have, kind of like obviously he's not Troy Polamalu, and he's not even Minkah Fitzpatrick. He's just good at defense. Jaelan Ramsey's just good at football, which gives the defensive line time and the linebackers to just go attack the run, go hunt the quarterback, and six turnovers. That's how many turnovers we forced.
Yeah, and as somebody that had Daniel Jones in fantasy, at that hurt.
They all hurt.
It hurt. It hurt because. And it sucks to say out loud, but I don't feel bad because the Steelers aren't the defense that you're scared of. So you see your quarterback going against the Steelers, you think, okay, I'm gonna get some good points. Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
Honestly, what I think helped also as well, the 2005, 2006, the Super Bowl 40 team, the winners of Super Bowl 40 were there and they were being honored at halftime. Dick LeBeau was also there, and I have a feeling maybe he snuck off to the side, grabbed a little headset, and started calling a few plays.
Tell these young boys, son.
They were saying that the way the defense was playing schematically, which I feel like we never hear that, was completely different to what it was. We were playing on first down. We were playing third down coverage on first down. So it was limiting the time that Daniel Jones had to just pick apart, because they're notorious to being first down passers as opposed to runners. And yes, it may have been a team thing, but finally the highest paid defense showed up. It may have just been, the 05 team just looking at them and be like, hey, make us look good, because if not, James Harrison, Joey Porter, those are bad boys. They're gonna
they don't play.
Bust them up.
They don't play. And I'm glad that you brought up that old Super Bowl team, because the next topic that we're actually going to go into is kind of a modern blueprint that you kind of laid out here as to
Yes.
the blueprint of winning the Super Bowl or getting to the Super Bowl, basically, right?
Yes.
So can you get into that a little more?
Yeah, so I was curious to see, because we did hear a lot of what it takes to get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, we know that you need a quarterback regardless. But if you have a subpar quarterback, like per se, trying to think like Nick Foles, right, where it was a flash in the pan, and they won. Like how in the world were they able to beat the Patriots? Well, they had a top 10 offensive line. They had playmaking weapons. They had a creative coach, and back then it was Doug Peterson, and it was, different coverages and defense and different offensive looks, and they were able to run the ball. So just I went back and I took a look at the last 15 years of Super Bowl winners, and I actually have a little graphic for that as well.
Right here.
And if you notice, 2025, we know it was the Eagles over the Chiefs. They had a dominant offensive line, best in football. We know about their run game because Saquon Barkley was absolutely going wild. Again, with the Chiefs, an elite line, and Jalen Hurts might not be a great quarterback, but he can get it done. And with an offensive line, you can get it done, and an elite defense. That's part of the blueprint. Patrick Mahomes, elite. And then they also had an O-line the year before. Again, they rebuilt that O-line because they lost real bad to the Bucs back in 2021. And it was because that O-line was absolutely terrible. And we thought they were going to do the same thing this year because they got destroyed because that O-line was absolutely terrible. And this last game against the Bills, again, that O-line didn't look great at all because those Bills defensive players, they were hunting. I mean, every play he dropped back, he was getting hit. But Tom Brady with the Patriots, he had an elite interior line, obviously elite quarterback, and of course you had Gronk and you had Edelman. So all throughout it, you can pause the video here. You can kind of take a look and just go down the line. I'm gonna go all the way back to 2012.
Okay,
we know what happened in 2012. Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Ryan.
Well, yeah. What was the biggest difference there is that the defensive line, again, trenches,
elite,
and that offensive line of the Giants per se played their absolute best. So that whole thing kind of got me thinking on the division leaders that we have right now, or your Super Bowl contenders. Let's just leave it at that. Let's keep it simple. Your Super Bowl contenders that come to mind right now. Who would you say, Miguel? Who are your Super Bowl contenders right now?
So the Rams are going to be up there. Buffalo. I know the Kansas City record doesn't look good right now, but they still have Mahomes. They're always going to be a contender to me. Detroit. The Indianapolis Colts.
The
New England Patriots, unfortunately.
No, and that's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. And Philly, of course.
And then Philly. So all of those teams that you just mentioned, they all have an elite quarterback, or at least a respectable quarterback. When they don't have an elite quarterback, they have an elite offensive line. They have either an elite defense. They're able to run the ball. So what I'm trying to get at is that how you build a team in today's day and age, and not even back in the 2010s, the same. And even before that, it starts from the interior and out.
Yeah.
Going back to our point with the Bengals, right? You have an elite quarterback, but that offensive line is absolutely terrible. What do they decide to do? They decide to pay T. Higgins and they decide to pay Jamar Chase. So if I were a Bengal fan and I'm seeing this, and yes, I'm a Steelers fan, so obviously they're just going to hate everything I say regardless. I don't see the Bengals winning absolutely anything because of how they decided to build their team. The Eagles, they're still dominant up front. Yes, their online took a hit, but they still have Lane Johnson. The Detroit Lions, that offensive line, when they're rolling, they're hard to beat. Yes, they lost to the Vikings, and yes, their run game didn't look great, but they'll get back to it. It starts at the trenches. It starts with a quarterback that's able to complement it. And then at the end of, if you go back one slide, if you go to my
I got you right here.
the last one, creative coach. And that's one of the things where I, as a Steelers fan, don't have a lot of hope. Yes, we just beat the Colts, but we have lost the last 8 playoff games, and a lot of it has come down to Mike Tomlin being a defensive coach, and not being as creative schematically on the defensive or the offensive side of the football. The last few Super Bowl winners, they've all had a good coach. Your Andy Reid, your Nick Sirianni's, your who else is up? Sean Payton's was up there. I mean, it's just Kyle Shanahan getting to the Super Bowl, and then of course Bruce Arians. That's another one. He's a great offensive. I love Bruce Arians because he won a Super Bowl with us. He was our offensive coordinator. So the creativity of it just all complements each other. So that's why, in a sense, I'm kind of hyped with the Colts, and I think if they were going to pull it off, I think they can because of this blueprint. The Chiefs obviously can't, but they have a lot of they still have issues. Yes, they have, and Patrick Mahomes will cover up a lot of those holes, issues on the offensive line. But this might be the Bills' year as well. It just depends on how they're running the football. It just starts at the trenches. You have to build your football from the interior out and then go from there.
I love it. And you can't really, this isn't something that can really be debated. I mean, the trenches are the most important part of the field. And back to your Bengals example, they are the exact opposite of this list, right? Well, I don't want to say the exact opposite because I do think Joe Burrow is an elite quarterback. But to the trenches point, if he's not staying upright for most of the game because he's constantly getting hit, constantly has pressure on him, that's going to take away from it. Obviously, he's going to be able to cover up some of those plays, but he's not going to be able to do it every single time.
And what's crazy, they have 3 out of the 4.
They do.
They have an elite quarterback. They definitely have playmaking weapons. Yeah. And they do have a creative coach because he is able to scheme them open. Now, that offensive line, though, that is tough.
And that's why, even though it seems like they have 3, the first one and the last one not even the first one and the last one, the first one and the second to last one, the elite quarterback and the playmaking weapons get hindered because their trenches are so trash. So the fact that they're not having enough time for the plays to develop, obviously, again, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins are elite playmakers. So they're going to be able to make up some of that slack sometimes. But you don't want them to have to do that every single time. You want them to have at least a couple more seconds to try to get open, to try to get to their spots, to try to get into that weak spot of the defense. And if you don't have that, the offensive line to protect the quarterback in order to give them the time to do it, then 1, that's going to be a bunch of dead plays. And then 2, that's going to be a lot of more hits on your elite quarterback that you don't want, because then potentially something like this happens where, especially someone like Joe Burrow, who has missed a bunch of time in his short career so far. And a lot of that is contributed to them not being able to protect them.
Correct. And yes, the players do have to execute at the end of the day. But your coach also has to put you in a position to win. You have to run the ball at some point that leads to the offensive line. Like Patrick Mahomes, when he's at his best, is that running game is going. Jared Goff, when he's at his best, and that play actions is when that running game's going. The Bills, they had a little bit of a slip up in a few games and all that. It's James Cook wasn't being fed enough and yes, they have Josh Allen, but it's still a battle of the trenches and playmaking weapons, not just on offense, but on defense as well. You have to have big playmakers on both sides of the ball. Just another tad bit out of the 16 teams and those 15 years that they won the Super Bowl, 14 of them had a top 10 O-line and an elite trench play. So either in a playmaker on defense who was able to kind of just shut the game out on the defensive side of the ball. And then QB efficiency is always going to lead to more wins as opposed to raw athleticism, like what we saw with let me see if he's on here. Well, anyways, one that comes to mind is the Joe Flacco versus Colin Kaepernick. That raw athleticism that Colin Kaepernick had, but then at the end of the day, it was Joe Flacco that came back from that Super Bowl and just be efficient, and then just let your defense do his thing. Let your offensive give you time to find your weapons and your elite playmakers and all of that.
I love it. So what we're going to do now is I have this little trivia game that I want to play with you that I kind of worked on.
Nice.
Love
it.
And there's going to be some learning in it, which is great. We always like to learn. But this is going to be based on the things that have been happening in this year. So from week 1 to week 9 currently. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at these teams right here, right? So this is all 4 divisions on both conferences. So we don't have any of the records up there. We don't have any of the stats up there. You're just going to be going based off of the teams that you see and your knowledge of what you can recollect from all the games that we watched so far. It's not going to be anything crazy. So my first question to you would be, when you look at the AFC and you look at the NFC, which conference has the most wins?
Ooh.
And you could take your time. Take a second to look at the actual teams. We spoke about some of these teams already. So we see the AFC has the Colts, the Patriots.
So I know obviously you have the AFC South, right? But in reality, it's just the Colts. And the AFC East, the Bills, but then the Pats also have 7 wins, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
AFC West is all close. I think they're all like 5-4 or 5.
Yeah, they're all like within, like, other than the Raiders, who are, I believe, 3-5, and then everyone else is like 5-4, 5.
Yeah. My thing is the NFC West. I think they all have winning records. As well, the Cardinals. I'm gonna say the NFC. I think I'm gonna say the NFC has more.
So you are correct. The AFC actually has 65, and the NFC has 69. And the crazy thing about this is 2 things. There's 3 teams that are 7-2. All 3 of them are in the AFC.
But it's top heavy.
Still, the NFC still has more wins because, one, they're top heavy. And then the other thing that's crazy is we know that there was 2 teams that had tied this year. Both of them are in the NFC.
True. Yeah,
but
that's true.
Technically, that would hurt them in this question because neither of them got accredited for a win. And they still ended up with more wins on the NFC side than the AFC side.
Yeah.
Which is insane in my mind. So that was the first question there with a little bit of nuggets that I wanted to add on to it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go back to these teams, right? So now we're going to focus mostly on the divisions. So each division separately. So what I want to know is which division has the most losses?
Ooh.
So
I thought you were heading the opposite direction on that one. I like this.
When it comes to the AFC, what division has the most losses? And then when it comes to NFC, which division has the most losses? So you're picking one from each conference who you think has the most losses.
You would think the worst teams in the NFL, really. I'm gonna go with the AFC East, man, because even though they do have the best records, the 2 teams, but then Dolphins and Jets, man, that's a lot of losses. So I'm gonna go AFC East.
AFC East, and then for the NFC, which one of these divisions you think has the most losses?
Ooh, that one's good too. See, I'm trying to think through it. The NFC West, I know they're top heavy.
And also keep in mind
North.
the ties too. Remember, there's 2 teams that have ties.
True.
Both of those are in the NFC, so neither of them got a loss for that.
So the Packers and the boys, the Redskins have lost a bunch of then of course then you have the Giants as well. Is it the NFC East?
The NFC East. So you pick an AFC East and NFC East?
I think so. Sides? Yeah. That's my final answer.
Okay. I was about to say, I just realized that when I pulled this graphic out and I was looking for a graphic with these divisions, I picked one of the old ones. So they have the Redskins, the old Rams logo and all that stuff.
Oh, did I say Redskins? That just went right through. Yeah.
But you see the logo. It's hard not to say. So,
but to be safe, that is the better logo. Just say it.
It is. It is. So for the AFC, you pick the AFC East, and then for the NFC, you pick the AFC East as
NFC
well.
East.
The NFC
Yeah, and the
East. I'm
AFC
sorry.
East.
So
Yeah.
the East on both sides. So for the NFC, you are correct. They have 20.
Ooh.
When it comes to the AFC North, is actually your division,
Oh wow.
and that's because
Yes, that's right, because the Ravens. Yeah, the
yes,
Ravens.
the
That's right.
Ravens don't have that good of
Bengals
a record,
I-
and you're leading the division. But even with that lead, you're like 5-3. So it's not like one of these top heavy.
you know what it is, but so my train of thought is like yes, even though I dislike the Ravens, I hate the Bengals, and I absolutely despise the Browns. I still have respect for my division. Like I still put up my division up against yours
Mhm.
and I'll still say, yeah, the AFC North has the best football. Like it's just my respect. So that's why I didn't really think of it. But yeah, well, yeah, that caught me off guard.
So now we're gonna go back. We got one more, and this one is going to be. Well, actually, did I have? So the nugget that I had for this one, actually, let me go back to it. Was the AFC North is the only division where every team has 3 or more losses. Every other team has one of these teams that are like 7-1, 6-2, or they had a bye, so they didn't have a chance to get another loss on their column. So that's one of the nuggets that I had there. And then the NFC has the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Bucks, and the Rams. All of them are 6-2, and all of them had a bye. So that brought their what you call it total down a little bit. And then the same thing with the Packers being 5-2-1, where they got a tie. So it's like there was just less chances for them to end up racking up some of those losses.
What's crazy is that even though the AFC North is leading, I think all of us already had a bye too. So that's a yeah, that's a lot of losses.
It is. You guys like it, it's scavenger. It's just kind of just beat up on each other and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this next one and last one is going to be who scored the most points. So what I want to know is which conference do you think scored the most points? Is it going to be the NFC or the AFC?
Gotcha. As a conference as a whole.
As a whole.
Let me see. So we have the best offense in football in the AFC South. I know the Texans also had a 40-point game. I know the Bengals are putting up a bunch of points lately.
Crazy numbers right now.
The Lions, I don't think they've blown out anybody this year. The Bucks do put up points, but it's typically like it's close. It's always between 24, 27 point range. The Seahawks put up a lot of points too. They just put 32 up, I think, recently, and the Cowboys do also. And the Giants did with that one game alone.
Yeah, even with their bad record, they're putting up some points.
Yeah,
putting up some points.
I think honestly, I'm gonna go AFC simply because the Bengals somehow score a bunch of points and lose. And then you have the best offense in football, and then you do have some like the Bills and the Patriots that have been consistently good.
So AFC?
Scoring. Yeah, and then the Broncos.
So it's actually the NFC. The NFC has 3,209 points. The NFC has 3,137. And then I kind of have each each division's points. And you can see where that slack comes in for the NFC is the South. The South isn't really putting up points, but the rest of them are putting up crazy points. Yeah, you got the Saints, you got the Panthers, you got the Falcons who are super inconsistent. And then even the Bucks, even though they're a really good team, it's not like they're blowing these teams out. Like even their win against us was by a couple of points. So because they've been hurt as well. So it's been harder for them to put up those points.
So it's literally being carried by the NFC East.
No, and the West and the North. All of them are putting up over 800 points.
Yeah, that's true.
So the East does have the most points in all of the divisions. But if you look at like just the slack of the other divisions, so like with the AFC, they only have two divisions putting up 800 points or more, and the West is barely there at 807, where those other three in the NFC are going crazy.
That's true. I also have the whole recency bias. That's why we love football, because from week to week, it's either all in flames or it's it's all good. We're going to the Super Bowl. So like with the Bengals, like recency bias. They just had massive scoring, but they just got Flacco 3 games before that. Jake Browning was averaging 6 points, not even 3 points. So so that actually makes sense.
And what's also crazy, which is a little nugget that comes with this, is as you see the points each division put up, the most is the NFC East with 869 out of all the divisions, but they're also the one with the most losses in that division with 20.
It's the Cowboys. It has to be the Cowboys.
It's 100% the Cowboys putting up these crazy numbers and still barely winning sometimes. Again, the Giants are putting up some points, even though they're losing. And then obviously the Eagles and the Commanders. The Commanders have been all over the place this year. But yeah, that's it. It's certain things that you don't think would kind of correlate with each other, but somehow they do. And then one other thing that I want to ask, which isn't an actual question because I don't have a graphic for it, but just like as a little nugget, which team do you think scored the most points this year?
Who has scored the most points?
I know the first couple of teams that probably comes to your mind, and I'm going to tell you it's probably not them.
Is it the Cowboys?
So the Cowboys are number 2. I'll give you 2 more guesses.
So the guys that obviously came to mind was the Colts, but
do you want to say them or?
I'll say the Colts just to know where they're at.
So it is actually the Colts at 290.
I see what you're trying to do.
Well, because the first teams that actually come to mind is going to be like the Cowboys and the Bengals.
Well, yeah, but again, historic offense. So that really was like I think they scored. What was it? The first 4 weeks they only punted once, which was wild.
Yeah. So they haven't really slowed down much either. So they're 290. The Cowboys were second when 263. So they have about 27 more points than the second place leader, and then the Lions at 239, and the Patriots at 237. So the Patriots are 4th on that list, which again is something that you don't really think about. We think that the Patriots are playing very well, but we don't think that they're putting up crazy numbers like that. But 4th in the NFL right now, and even though the Colts also have the highest points for, they actually have the highest points differential too between all the games. They have 109 points differential between the points that they score versus the points that they give up. So Colts playing great ball, man, freaking great. But that's a little trivia I want to throw in there.
They ran into a juggernaut.
Yeah, listen, Kyle Duggar. Say his name. Say his name. Oh man. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be right back with some NBA.
Hey Macho, what is Planet Euphoria?
Planet Euphoria is a clothing company based out of upstate New York with the best designs and sports tees on the market. They have everything from basketball, football, baseball, music artists, anime, and so much more.
Do they have any deals?
Right now, they have a buy one, get one 50% off promo for a limited time. But if you want to save just a little bit more, use code Macho Talk Sports for 25% off of your entire order.
That's so cool. I'm going to order some right now. What's the website again? PlanetEuphoria.com. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description. PlanetEuphoria.com. Let them know that Macho Talk Sports sent you. And we are back, and we're here to talk some NBA action here. The first question that I wanted to ask for you, we're going to go to 3 questions here. The first one being, what is the biggest disappointment this year? What has been the biggest disappointment in this NBA season so far?
As we currently record this, the Magic are playing the Atlanta Hawks, and we are losing 106-84.
Trae Young must be having a good game.
And Trae Young is out. We have yet to play them at full strength, and this looks like it's going to be our second loss to them. So I guess that answers my biggest disappointment this year is definitely my Orlando Magic. I honestly thought because we didn't lose much and it was a little bit of continuity as far as from the coaching staff in general. Really, we just added a piece. We didn't really subtract. Then we added Bain. Really, what we lost was Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, and KCP. That shouldn't be a major downgrade from where we are defensively. That's been my biggest disappointment. It's definitely the defensive side of the ball, the joy, the want, the just the heart, the hustle on the defensive side of the ball. It's almost like, and then on the offensive side, when that side's not going, it's like it's just aimless basketball. There's no point in it. There's no it's definitely frustrating. It's frustrating. It pisses me off because I had this Magic team starting the year off on a hot note because there were so many winnable games in front of us. With like yes, we beat the Heat, and and I've mentioned it before. If it weren't for like those 6 minutes where we finally decided to play Magic basketball, we would have lost that game. And then we play the Bulls without Kobe White, we lose. We play the Hawks without, at the time, Porzingis. And Ricochet, and we lose. Then we get absolutely destroyed by the Detroit Pistons, and they look like us 2 years ago, like being the aggressor and just being all up in your face. Like, we don't have that type of mentality anymore, to where you come to Orlando and you expect a dogfight. Now it's just like the whole team identity just changed. Like, it's pointless, it's directionless. And I don't even want to say who this points to, but it's obviously Jamal Mosley has built up the repertoire of these boys. These boys know what to do all they have to do, and he mentions it all the time. They have to sit down and guard your man. Have pride in keeping your man in front of you. Have pride and knowing the backside help is going to be there, and you as the backside help, you have to be there. You have to help your man if he does get beat. None of that is happening at the moment. And then the offense is just we're scoring a lot of points, but we're giving up so many points. Like we gave up 136 points in back-to-back games. That hasn't happened in forever. Again, right now, currently we're losing to the Hawks. Yeah, they were losing to the Hawks. Is fourth quarter. They have 110 points. We have 89 on national television. So that's definitely gonna appease the whole Paulo banter and all this other, just overall bad talk when it comes to the Magic. So it's really frustrating that this team is not rising up to the occasion and just playing with some pride. It's just out the door.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you because I've said it before. This was my team that was going to make it out of the East. I had high hopes for you guys. Obviously, maybe that was a little early. I should have probably kind of saw how you guys worked it out. But the thing that I liked about you guys was I felt like you had a lot of continuity coming back into the season with a couple of changes, but really one big change, and then the rest is still kind of the same. So where I thought that would be a little bit of an easier transition coming into this year, to where it's looking like it's the biggest transition, where there's so many things going on with communication, going on with defensive assignments, defensive effort, apparently. And that is a huge issue. That is a huge issue. You should not be losing to the Hawks twice in a row, down their two biggest. Well, I wouldn't say Porzingis, their second biggest, but he's still a key piece onto that team. Jaelan Johnson is probably their second.
Their second piece, yeah.
But regardless, I mean that's crazy. That's crazy. But what I'm gonna say with my biggest team disappointment this year is a team that's gonna sound weird at first, but I'll get into it, and that's the Pelicans. The Pelicans are 0-6. Obviously, you think of the Pelicans, what the hell are they gonna do? They're a terrible team anyway. The reason that I have them as the biggest disappointment is because I felt like they thought they were a lot better than they were. And what
proved that to me was when they traded up to get the 13th pick, which was Derek Queen. They gave up their 23rd pick, and they gave up their first round pick this year unprotected.
That's wild.
That indicates that they think that they're going to be a decent enough team where that first isn't going to matter. They're currently the 102. And that pick is owned by the Hawks, the team that you're losing to right now. So that's why I put them as my biggest disappointment, because the moves that they have been making since who the hell is the GM right now that came in? Is it Joe Dumars? I believe it's Joe Dumars.
I think it is. Yeah.
And ever since yes, please. Ever since he's came into this position, has made some highly questionable moves, and that one was the most questionable one. I've been talking about before the season started. They should have tried to trade Zion, get some picks, and try to build upon this year and rebuild and everything. Get into that mode, because this team is not ready to win right now. And I don't know who they thought Derek Queen was and who they thought they were, that they can give up a haul like that for this kid. And again, 0-6 right now without a win. There, I believe the only two teams without a win is them and the Brooklyn Nets, and the Brooklyn Nets are 0-7.
Jeez. So it's actually Troy Weaver, who was hired April 2025. He replaced Bryson Graham. So he was still the decision maker come draft time, because obviously April's before June, and that's June, July is when the draft is.
Is he the president of basketball operations? That's Joe Dumars. He's the Joe Dumars is the president of basketball operations. So he's the one that has been overseeing like the actual like player acquisition.
He was also hired in 2025. Yeah,
right. Yeah. So and since he's came in, terrible job so far, and that might be the worst trade that I've seen in a while, because that's really going to bite them in the ass, and that's going to help an already ascending Hawks team. We spoke about it in the offseason, how we like the moves that they made this year. They still have their first. They have the Pelicans first now. They have some ammo to keep rebuilding onto this team. So, and the East is kind of open right now. So they have the options at their disposal. What they do with it, who knows? But for me, the biggest disappointment is the Pelicans, man. Not just only the record, but the moves that they've been making. And it's just highly questionable moves. And Joe Dumars is somebody that's coming from, you talked about the Pistons, that style of brand. I mean, his team defined that. So he knows ball, and he's played at a very high level. He's a champion. I don't know that not every great basketball player goes on to be a great basketball mind later on in their career, and he seems to be going around that path of the Jordan, where it's like you could be great on the court, but when it comes to actually making these decisions, maybe you shouldn't be making them. Yep. That's tough. I actually didn't know that little nugget that their draft was unprotected. That makes me very unprotected. Sad. And as soon as they made the trade, I thought that was ridiculous. Now, I didn't know that they'd be one of the only other teams that are winless other than the Nets, where the Nets actually make sense. They just made 5 first-round picks. Like, they have absolutely no direction, no players, but they still own their picks. So if they do bad, at least they get to benefit from it, to where the Pelicans, I don't know what the hell they do. So that's going to end up biting them in the ass. But we're going to move away from these disappointed teams, and we're going to move on to these sleeper teams. I want to know, what is your biggest sleeper team this year? I've mentioned them before, and they just beat our ass. So I'm going to go again, the Detroit Pistons. They are a complete team. I mean, you have Stu, and you've mentioned that before, that if Stu was available for this past playoff, there was a chance that they probably would have beaten the Knicks. They took them to 7 games, and the lack of big bodies, which he's definitely a big body and not scared of anyone, which we all know. Yeah, it has to be. Cade Cunningham is good. He's a great point guard. The complement of players, Duncan Robinson being on that team,
yes, they lost Malik
You
Beasley,
spoke about that too.
Duncan Robinson, I see him quite often, him being with the Heat.
Yeah.
I know of. He's so good, and he does bring you another element that Malik Beasley didn't bring you. Is he has a little wiggle to him as well. He can handle the ball as well. He absolutely doesn't need to, because he is an absolute sniper. But he opens up that floor completely differently than anybody really on that whole Pistons team. It's just unbelievable the amount they lost. What is Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, both good 3-point shooters, and they replaced them with the ultimate sniper, which is Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, that's a good shout. And I mean, they have playoff experience. They have pretty much the same regime there, so they're still building on that. And like you said, they added that sniper and Duncan Robinson. I still thought that, even though I thought Duncan Robinson was a great 3-point shooter, I did not think he'd be good enough to kind of make up for the slack of losing both of those 3-point shooters that you just mentioned. Because, I mean, every time you hear Malik Beasley nowadays, you just think about gambling and stuff like that. But he was knocking these threes down last year at a high clip. So shout out to them boys.
Yeah.
I like that shout.
Second. He finished second in the league behind Anthony Edwards, and because of that last game where I think they called each other or whatever, like, hey, if you hit 7 threes or what, and Anthony Edwards, to his credit, actually did. So Malik Beasley finished, and I think he was coming off the bench, if I'm not mistaken, or he was
like a 6-man or something.
Yeah, correct. So he can definitely shoot the ball, but Duncan Robinson is a whole different animal. He really is.
Heat culture.
Yeah. And one of 3 players from Maine, by the way.
Ah, nice nugget.
Yeah.
Do you know the other two? No. Okay. No. Wait. Cooper?
You should know one. Yeah. Cooper Flag's the other.
Okay. Yeah.
And the other is Jeff Turner. He played for the Magic. He's still our broadcaster. He's a lefty. He played with Shaq and back in the day and all that stuff.
You have to go all the way back.
He may own one of like the quickest to fall out of the game. You know, he was just one of those guys.
He was there for the coffee. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I like that. For me, I'm going to go with the Mavericks. The reason I'm going with the Mavericks is they're 2-5 right now, obviously off to a bad start, but their start is a little more understandable. I mean, they got Kyrie out, they got Anthony Davis out, Derek Lively is in and out. These are key players, possibly their best 2 players. If you want to count Cooper Flag, I don't count him there yet. I think he will be their best player eventually. But the reason they're my sleeper team is because I think this is giving Cooper Flag more of a bigger leash to kind of just do whatever the hell he wants to do, try to learn on the fly. Klay Thompson is not really much of a player as he once was, he's still the experience. He's still like being able to learn from someone like that and be on the floor with someone like that. It's still going to benefit someone like a Cooper Flag and learn from him. So I think that they stay afloat enough to where these 2 boys come back, they can then make a run. I think the West is very powerful, but I think that they can still make it to around a 5 or 6 seed. They're probably not one of those top seeds, which is fine. They don't need to get there. But as long as that they could get in healthy or healthy enough, I think they can make some noise. So for me, I got the Mavs.
Yeah, they're currently 2-5. I mean, they're definitely underperforming, but you do have kind of other teams that are overperforming, like the Jazz are 3-4.
Right.
The Trailblazers are 4-3. And
Suns
like
are 3-4.
Yeah, the Suns are 3-4, which, by the way, their defensive game plan against Wemby, out of all the teams in the NBA, you definitely would have said, oh yeah, the Suns would have literally the textbook on how to guard Wemby. It was perfect. It was Wemby's worst game. It was amazing. Now it's just executing it different animal, but geez, man.
Credit to them for sure. Those are one of those teams that I looked like the
when I spoke about the Pelicans, where I'm like, what the hell are they doing? The Phoenix Suns were definitely one of those teams. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And we spoke about it a couple times in the offseason too on some of these videos. But hey, they found a way to stop Wemby. They did what nobody else could do. So we're the impossible, literally. And maybe he pops up into our next conversation, because my next and last question for you is going to be, who is your top 3 MVP candidates so far? Obviously, we're only about 7, 8, 9 games in, depending on which team you're rooting for. But so far, who's your 3?
Austin Reeves. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm messing
Come
with
on,
you.
you know you want to. You know you want to. Let's go.
No. No. So I'm gonna go with Giannis. I think is deserving of it. He just does so much for that team. Like, honestly, you remove Giannis from that team is complete garbage. Like, it's so bad. Yeah. So like, and them having the record that they have, it's just all credit to Giannis. The other guy is Tyrese Maxey, man. I do have him up there. They're the top. They're the top of the East. They're literally number 1 in the East, and that's with all the issues Philadelphia has. I've said it before. A lot of people disagree. Tyrese Maxey is Philadelphia's best player, regardless of Joel Embiid's status. He is their best player. So to this point, I think he is my MVP. And last but not least, until they're beaten, and this one sucks, I'm gonna go with SGA. It's just that they're 7-0. They look unstoppable at this point. I mean, shoot, they may win the cup, they may win the championship, they may beat the Warriors record. I mean, they seem
no, they're not doing that.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. With the refs' help, anything is possible, right? So
that's a fact. That is a fact. I didn't factor that part in. That's true.
Yeah, no, and I think Jaelan Williams also hasn't been playing in a lot of these games, and they're still not really fully healthy. They're just good. They're just, honestly, they're good. Annoying, but they're good.
So that team is obviously scary, obviously stacked, and they have the experience. They just came off their championship. So I think so. Well, I'm gonna get into my 3 actually. For my first one, I'm gonna say, because you already said him, and that's gonna be Giannis. 34 points, 13 rebounds, almost 7 assists, a block, and a steal. Again, he is the Bucks. He is the former MVP. He's been there before. He's a champion. He's done it all technically already. He's one of those unstoppable players because of the way that he's built and the way that he plays. He plays to his strength. He's not going to be taking step back threes because he can't do that. What he's going to do is he's going to run to that basket and he's going to dunk it on you every single time.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get the foul and go for the layup or something like it's one of the 2 options, and either way the ball still might go in no matter what. So he plays to his style, and with the East being so hurt that they are 100% bully ball, being as hurt as they are, he can will that team into a top 4 in the East. And if he does that with these stats that he's putting up so far, I mean, he's hard to deny.
What the MVP does.
100%. 100%. And then, speaking of former MVP, I'm still going to put Joker in there.
Yeah.
I have to. I mean, he's still averaging the triple-double again. Like, I know we get bored of it. We get bored of it because nowadays it's so freaking common, especially for someone like him. But 22 points, 13 rebounds, 11 assists. Yes, 2.5 steals and a block as well. So he's putting up some defensive numbers in there as well. So for me, he would be. I don't really have them ranked, but if I had to rank them, I'd probably have him 3rd and Giannis 2nd, just because I feel like Giannis's numbers look a little better, and I think at the end of the year, I can see their record being around the same, which is crazy because the Bucks should not really be that good of a team. They have some, so I like Ryan Rollins a lot on the Bucks right now.
Yeah,
but I notice he does better when Giannis is not playing. So like, Giannis is very ball dominant. You know what I'm saying? So some people are gonna take some shots down when he's not there as opposed to when he is there. But he does have some decent players around him.
He really does. And again, the East is weak right now. So, but Joker, voters fatigue, I understand it. For me, greatness is greatness. And as we start getting to this age where we've lost so many of our greats, whether that be to retirement or death, it makes you want to appreciate the greatness more when you're seeing it.
In
And
the
that's
moment.
100%. And that's what Joker is. Like, I want to give him his flowers while he's here. So if he deserves it, I want us to be able to give it to him and not give it to Embiid because we feel bad for him. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we have to appreciate the greatness when we have it. So that's going to be my number 2. And then my number 1 is going to be the greatest of all time, Luka Doncic. You already know. Another person who's averaging a triple-double. He's missed a couple of games due to injury. Actually, no, he's not averaging the triple-double right now. He has 8.3 assists, but he's going to get those numbers up. He'll get that triple-double. 41 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1.3 steals. And the Lakers are looking pretty good. I don't think we're going to make a championship. I know we had our talks about who we think are going to make the finals. Right now, we're currently 6-2, third in the West. We're doing this all without LeBron. We're doing it with Luka in some of the games, and even Austin Reeves had missed a game or two, and we're still finding a way to win. So I like it. I like where we're at.
This is where the whole conversation starts, where there's a chance that LeBron might make this team worse.
Get him out of here, man. Like, don't even let him get to the court yet. Like, when he's ready to play, let's just trade him. Let's just get him out of here.
Yeah.
It's addition by subtraction.
It may be, yeah, pretty much. It may, because it's LeBron, right? They're going to run the offense through him. They're always, so that takes away opportunities to these guys that have been balling. I mean, who the hell would have thought that Austin Reeves was going to be averaging 31 points and 8 assists 7 games in? Like, that's
Dog.
it's Austin Reeves, bro. Like yes, he's good, but 31 points and 8 assists good. Like, I don't think any of us saw that coming. And then Luka's Luka. So why are we going to take the ball out of his hands? He is the offense. He is the offensive hub. Yeah, that's a whole separate conversation. So we'll leave that for whenever.
Yeah, and he has that no trade contract too. So it's like, it don't matter what we want. It's ultimately what LeBron wants, unfortunately. And that's the problem with LeBron and having him on any team he's been on. It's whatever the hell he wants. He doesn't want you on the team. He wants you on the team. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want you to play. Like, whatever. He doesn't want you to coach.
That's why I respect Eric Spoelstra so much, because he was one of the first coaches to put him in his place, and then like kind of teach him the ways of you know, to win and kind of steer him towards like, no, man, you have to abide by my rules. So anyways, that's that.
Culture. Say it with me.
No, that's false. It's Spoelstra. That's all what it is.
Spoelstra culture. So that's going to do it here for Macho Talk Sports episode 14. I'm Macho. He has been Daniel. Thank you so much for coming through. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you, and we are out.